haven't done one of these in a while. My God, it's 13 degrees here, and over in the kitchen I measured the walls, and one of the walls was 7 degrees, so need a fire. And then I'm going to have a coffee, and then I'm going to let's see, coffee, breakfast, and then I'm going to go and enjoy the blue skies we got out there. It's not warm, but it's, you know, it's blue skies. Can't say fairer than that. Let's make sure there's no incriminating evidence. Just burn all the documents. Oh look, it's let's be topical about this. It's the Epstein files. Yeah. And here it is being carefully released to the public. Oh, it's just a box full of ashes. Can I stick it in there? I probably can if one moment please. I'll do that. There we go. Now to set fire to the box. Do you know what? That would probably burn a lot better if I put an accelerant on it. But it's going. Also, if I show you these, I have some beeswax candles, and as you can see, it needs to be reflowed. Well, it doesn't need to be reflowed, but I'm going to reflow it, and likewise with that as well. And if I have to, I'll put new wicks in there. So yeah, it's a fire, guys. It's not much of a fire, but it's a fire. Yeah, I've got my coffee brewing in a coffee machine that's older than I am. And I know this because the plug on it, well, there's two bits of evidence. One, it was made in West Germany. That country hasn't existed since, what, 1991? And there was another piece of evidence. Yeah, the mains plug on it doesn't have any insulation around the live and neutral pins. And I looked up the legislation, when did that come into effect, and the answer is there was an update to the wiring regs in 1984 which said, oh, you must have some insulation around the pins because there's a chance, ever so slight, but there's a chance that you could put the plug in, not all the way, have live and neutral exposed, and then someone with a knife or another flat metallic object could stick it in there, and then they'd be exposed to 240 volt mains, which isn't nice. So they said, look, if we just put a little plastic sheath around the pins, it will prevent any sort of mishap in that regards. And UK plugs were the safest in the world, and after 1984 are the safest in the world. No plug is as safe as a UK mains plug, and if it wasn't for the massive infrastructure cost involved, everyone should be using UK mains plugs, even those places that use 100 volts. Japan. Oh, I made a mistake here. Did you spot the deliberate mistake I did? I put some cardboard in there, but I've not put anything on the cardboard. So I was just like, oh yeah, that's a nice fire, which will last all of 5 seconds. Now if I put some bits of kindling in there and cut myself up a bit more fire starter. What's the difference between a block of polystyrene impregnated in paraffin and using bits of plastic as I mean, they're both fire starters, right? It's just one was used as a packing material. And then there's a conspiracy by the fire starter companies to say, oh no, don't start a fire doing this. That's bad for the environment. Use our paraffin impregnated polystyrene blocks instead. If you're an American, you refer to polystyrene as styrofoam. Because Americans have different terms for everything. Americans will say, let's trouble that notion. I have no idea what that means, but they say it. I understand the words trouble, let's, and notion, but when you say all those three words together, it makes no sense to me. It's like, this is a non sequitur. These words do not follow one another. Let's trouble that notion. The other thing Americans do, which I like, and I keep thinking, well, you don't do superfluous things, because they're very keen on abbreviating things, is Americans, they like to say real estate as opposed to virtual estate. And I just thought, was there a big demand for that? But, you know, but apparently there was, because they keep saying real estate. So, you see, in our country, a real estate agent is known as an estate agent because the implication is that the estate is real. We don't have virtual estate agents. I know there was that thing with Second Life and the metaverse. We're like, oh no, now we will have virtual estate agents, but no, I don't want to pay real world money for a virtual house or a virtual plot of land in your virtual make-believe town with graphics that somehow look worse than Second Life, despite Facebook pouring billion dollars into the metaverse. That said, maybe the real metaverse project and the billions of dollars was just what they pumped into Mark Zuckerberg to turn him from an android into a real human being. I mean, the advances in robotics they've had with the Zuckerberg model is incredible. He's almost human now. And I can hear a sound in the distance which sounds like the coffee maker is getting through the last bits of water in the reservoir, which is good because this fire is going now. I'll just put some coal on it and then I think that's the fire done for the moment. So I'll get some coal on that and then oh, I can look forward to doing the pollen filter on the car. I was struggling to try and get the access flap open. My dad was as well. And it turns out the way to do it on a Golf is to you have to lift off the seal, and that way the access flap for the pollen filter can just slide out. Oh, let's not smother it. Okay. Right. That's the fire going. Open up the vents, there it can breathe. And thanks for watching the video. Is there anything else? Not really. I know I get philosophical in some of these videos, but today's not for that. Today we've got clear blue skies out there, and I'm going to profit from it whilst I can. And what better way to do that than changing a pollen filter in the car? And if I've got the energy for it, maybe I'll have a go with a fuel filter as well. Although the rubber hoses are stuck fast onto it, so maybe not. Toodle pip.